before, everybody, really lovely to meet you. I'm so grateful. Can you hear me? I think
I'm going to mute some people. Yeah, I'm going to mute everyone.
Okay, I'll wait. Okay, you can all hear me?
Yeah, I've muted everyone.
Amazing. So yeah, as I said before, it's so lovely to be here, so lovely to meet everybody, and it's nice that there's such a varied group in terms of expertise and backgrounds and everything. So yeah, no, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Well, let me share my screen. So I've got a small presentation. So in essence, I run a company called Make Believe, and we, as I mentioned, have theatre schools and production companies all over London and the southeast of England. And what I want to do today is just kind of talk you through the story behind Make Believe, how we've got to where we have today, but also the arts has been one of the industries that's been hit pretty hard during obviously this period. And I want to share with you how we've completely transformed what we've done in terms of our business model and still continue to survive and hopefully thrive during the pandemic, and obviously using this as a foundation to grow even more so beyond COVID. So okay, so just to tell you a little bit about me. So I actually started my first business at the age of 12. I was actually a DJ. I've heard I've only got 15 minutes. So I'm gonna run through it as quickly as possible, just giving you a brief a background of everything. But so my first business I started when I was 12, and at the age of 14, I wanted to produce a show for a charity, and the charity was called the Parry Charitable Foundation, and they built homes for children with learning disabilities. And the money that I'd saved up from DJing, which was my first business, I invested into the production, and I invested £4,000 of the money that I'd saved, and we raised £10,000 for the charity through a show and a musical, which I'm sure some of you have heard of, called Grease. I took back the 4,000 that I initially invested, and I donated 6,000 to charity. And by the time I finished the show, I was 15 years old. So I thought I really loved what I did with the show. So I thought not only could I continue helping other people, I could also create a business and a job and a career by doing this myself. So at the age of 15, I started Make Believe, and as I said, it's a children's theatre school. We teach kids after school and on the weekends across 50 locations now, but we began with 5 children. We've now grown the company to about 3,500 children attending every single week throughout London, the southeast of England, and we also do a lot of work internationally as well, which I'll speak about a bit more. Now, those of you that are from the UK, you'll know potentially that performing arts maybe 15, 16 years ago was very much for people that could afford to attend. And one of the main things that I wanted to focus on, especially coming from quite a working class background, was to make performing arts accessible. And that was our shtick, that was our thing. And all of the competitors on the market at the time, one being Stagecoach and a few others who were first on the market, were charging a significant amount of money. So it was, whilst it was offering an incredible amount of children to be part of it, it was obviously cutting out a lot of other kids that have, also wanted that chance to attend, but just couldn't. So I completely flipped the model on its head, and we ended up halving the price of what all of our competitors were doing. And that's how we began. And the idea of Make Believe was to build a brand based on meritocracy rather than affordability. And we've continued with that ethos, regardless of whether the company's evolved over a period of time. The ethos has always remained the same. And the idea is whatever community we go in, hopefully performing arts is accessible for a lot of people. Just talking you through the journey, just some key elements. So obviously, as I said, we started in 2004. And by the time we got to 2011, we had about 15 to 20 locations, and the business was run as a corporate structure. Now, I got to the point where I thought, you know what, I can either continue running in this way and employing a million different people, which whilst is great, at the end of the day, when you sometimes take on employees, it's not their business. So I was looking to create partnerships with people where they had an invested interest in the company. And that's when I started franchising. So in 2011, I actually sold my first franchise. And that first franchising is still with me today. I'm happy to speak a little bit more about franchising, those of you that are interested in it. But it enabled us to generate an amount of revenue without having to spend ourselves. So we invested in the franchise model. People were buying into the brand. They were sharing our vision, and it enabled us to completely grow it to a whole new level. And as I said, we've now got 50 locations, about 40 different franchisees, and that's both here and overseas as well. And again, I'll talk about the overseas later. In 2018, we launched our overseas program. Excuse me, I've skipped a few years here, I've just realized, but I'll skip anyway. In 2018, we started doing some work in China, and the China gig's pretty cool because every year we have about 150 children coming over from the country, and we integrate them here with the children in the UK, which is obviously incredibly fun, and everybody enjoys it. In 2019, some of you might have seen this in Tel Aviv. We were commissioned to produce our talent platform, One Dream, in line with Eurovision in 2019 at Gindi and TLV and Hashmonaim in Tel Aviv. I think that's the correct pronunciation, so apologies if not. But we produced this huge event, and the idea was to provide children from all over the country the opportunity to perform in Tel Aviv in line with Eurovision, and we were giving them a cash prize. So the two winners, a junior and a senior student, we gave them, I think, something like £1,000. And the idea was to use that money to invest in their education and in their vocational training going forwards. So that's what we did in Israel. That was our connections there. And as I said, we've produced shows at various different places throughout London, the southeast of England, from the O2 to the Novello Theatre. So the idea is that children come to Make Believe, they learn how to sing and dance and act, but they have also an opportunity to travel through the entire journey, okay? Now, obviously, back in March last year, as I'm sure you're all aware, the pandemic hit, and our conventional way of teaching had to change. So what I did is I moved everything online. As opposed to it just being on Zoom, we created a platform called Make Believe Plus. Now, the vision for Make Believe Plus is basically to be the Netflix for performing arts. So we built this entire platform with blogs, vlogs. We had different artists teaching private tuition, and it was all powered through this system. And the idea is that we were raising money at the same time. Kids would subscribe, and every week they would learn how to perform, but they would also have 24 hours accessibility to the website. So if it was 3 o'clock in the morning, a kid wanted to learn something, they could go on the Make Believe Plus website and grasp some information. And between March to July, we actually ended up with over 16,500 children logging into the platform. And again, this continues on the extension of our ethos, which is about making performing arts accessible. And all we were doing was charging £9.99 a month, £9.99 for a child to be a part of this. And again, the good thing about the digital platform is that it can go everywhere. So at the moment, we're just bringing it into the UK, but the idea is to take it to all different countries in all different languages and just expand over a longer period of time. Things that the kids can learn, we do various different Q&A sessions. So I've got a lot of friends in the West End, in theatre, in film, etc. They come and do, variety of different seminars with the kids. We'd have blogs, vlogs, online tutorials. Every Monday, we have a live lesson with teachers where they perform with the children, and the children obviously learn how to sing, act and dance weekly. So that's just some of the features that are incorporated within the site. Now, another aspect of the brand that we have is MB Talent. And we've been very fortunate to actually have the opportunity to sign several clients to the agency, and we represent about 0.01% of our entire network. So let's say, for example, Samsung, Haribo, Coca-Cola, some of the brands that you see in front of us, they're our clients. So what we do is we work with them and we place some of these children in these commercials. So Samsung will come to us, they'll say, right, we're running a campaign. This is what we want to achieve. This is what we want to do. Are you able to help us with the artists? And obviously we will place those artists into those campaigns and into those commercials. So again, that's another aspect of the Make Believe journey. Something that some of you might even be more inclined to find out a little bit more on is the franchising opportunity. It could be that you've got a business that you're looking to franchise yourself. Again, that's something that we help other brands do. And also, this is something that enabled us to grow the brand quite significantly. We sold our first international franchise in Australia in 2016. We now have several sites over there. And what we're trying to do is work with individuals who share the vision of Make Believe and want to grow a company from the ground up. And they take our concept and apply it to obviously their own local community, their local area. And obviously it enables them to grow using our platforms, using our formula to hopefully continue to make things a success. Just before I continue, is there any questions that anyone wants to ask in the meantime? I don't want to just keep talking. Hopefully you're all awake. I can't see all of you. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask. It's not a problem, just as we go anyway. I guess that's a no. That's all fine. I'll continue. I think one of the main benefits about franchising is we have got a transferable product. I mean, the great thing about Make Believe is it can be anywhere. And the idea is that we continue to grow. And our vision is to be in every single community all over the world. And our strategy has been locally first to kind of consolidate everything we have here in London and the Southeast. And we're now taking the brand all over the UK. And funnily enough, during COVID, which we thought was going to be probably one of the hardest times in terms of selling franchises, has actually been one of the most successful. And we've actually sold 11 new franchises in the last 8 months. Our annual franchise sale is about 5 and 6. So we've actually doubled what we normally do, which was quite remarkable. And the idea is now we're going to be taking it throughout the UK. So we're going into areas or into cities like Birmingham, we're going to Manchester, we're going to Scotland, we're going to Stoke-on-Trent. Some of you might have heard of these cities. I'm sure Helen has heard of Manchester, obviously, but and we're also doing a lot more work internationally as well, which will be revealed pretty soon. Now, and some of you mentioned some things about digital marketing. This is, as you can see, completely different branding from all of the other elements. So we've been consulting and supporting individuals to start companies and building them from the ground up through the Make Believe journey. And, over the last 12 months or, previously, I've always been asked how to help companies, whether it be through franchising, marketing, etc. So what we did is we built another aspect, another division within the company called Make Believe Innovation. And the idea of that brand is we're a creative agency helping brands create change. And I think one of the things that we've been able to specialize in here, especially in the last 12 months, is helping brands navigate through this time, working with companies that haven't necessarily, had the experience to be online. And we launched this as a brand about 3 months ago, and we're working now with over a dozen clients in all different areas, from retail to food to property. And the idea is that we use our formula from Make Believe and the Make Believe franchising model and apply that to Make Believe Innovation. And we help brands through a 6-step process grow, whether it be through strategy and planning, whether it be through creative planning or creative content. The idea is once we've developed all of that, we obviously aim to increase their traction, turn their visitors into leads, and then obviously from there, turning their leads into sales. And what we're doing as a company is taking everything that we've learned through franchising and how we've helped 40 individuals grow their business, granted with Make Believe, but taking those skills and transferring them, applying them to other business in all different sectors. And thank God it's proved to be pretty successful so far. We're continuing looking for more brands to work with and also help other companies grow, especially during this this time and this situation. So in terms of me, that's pretty much it. So you might have some questions. I'd be delighted to answer them. Let me stop the share because it's nicer to see everybody in terms of okay, it's really weird because I'm looking at the screen, I can't see anybody and I'm just talking. So but luckily you're all still awake, which is a positive thing. So that's okay.
Thank you, Joel. That was fantastic. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Joel?
Don't all shout at me at once, obviously.
Maybe they'll think of some.
Not a question, but just wow, and well done and very impressive.
Ah, thank you very much, Sue. Thank you.
Do you have students from Israel? Kids that...
Well, so funny enough, let me show you. So basically what happened when we produced the event in Tel Aviv in 2019, line with Eurovision, it was quite amazing because we had the idea came, I was actually sitting on the beach and I spoke to someone about what I do. And they said, you need to speak to my friend. So I went in and pitched this idea. And we have a talent platform in England called One Dream. And the idea of One Dream is to provide opportunities to kids who haven't necessarily got the chance to attend schools like us, for us to then raise sponsorship and give them some money to invest in their education. So I was explaining this to somebody. I went and then pitched it to TLV, who absolutely loved it. And we had 2 months until Eurovision. By the time all the contracts and everything was signed, and my experience working, it takes a little bit longer sometimes in Israel to get things over the line.
No.
We had 8 days to produce this event, and I'm thinking, shit, blimey, you know, I've got 8 days to, we've got the production, we were flying our teams over, we had absolutely no kids whatsoever to sign up to this thing. So anyway, fortunately, with our strategy and our marketing and everything that we were doing, working with influencers and all different things, we ended up with over 300 children applying from all over the country. We had kids driving up from Eilat to Tel Aviv, kids coming down from Haifa. It was unbelievable. Let me show you I'll just show you like the first 10 seconds of the video so you have an idea about what I'm talking about. But this here, this was the event that we did. Make Believe has just landed in Israel. And we obviously did the translation. These are the kids that had never heard of it. This is without production. You get the point, but the idea is that literally we're in the middle of a show. It's like X Factor in the middle of a shopping center, and we do that obviously all over the UK, but it was the first time we ever did it internationally. And yeah, for me, obviously being Jewish as well and loving Israel so much, it was a very proud moment anyway. So it was nice to have obviously brought it to Israel. So yeah, so that was that event.
That's amazing.
Any more questions?
I think it's amazing. Good for you.
Oh, thank you, Sandrine.
Did you have a
Thank
question?
you.
Yeah. When are you going to do something for adults?
We can start whenever, Hillel. If you're ready, we can go.
Awesome.
We're ready.
Thank you so much, Joel. That was great, and just so great to learn about something so different. So I'm going to put you into breakout rooms for another 10 minutes now.